From a series that started out as a humble street racer and heist film, to a multi-billion-dollar franchise where Toretto can casually projectile throw himself like Superman, yeah, I still call shenanigans on that one, comes a racing adventure game that looks to shake off the movie tie-in stigma these products are known for. I'm Anthony from the Beta Network, and in today's video, we'll be answering the question, should you play Fast and Furious Crossroads? At first glance, I gotta admit, I wasn't the most impressed visually or mechanically when I saw the trailers leading up to release, so I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting myself into with this title. It seems the Fast and Furious community felt the same way. These comments are gold. But after playing through it, I could really feel the attention to detail and series lore that Slightly Mad Studios permeated throughout Crossroads. There's a real, genuine understanding of the source material, and how they crafted the gameplay mechanics and scenarios very much fits the tone and atmosphere of the modern Fast films. Working in close collaboration with Universal and the Fast and Furious crew, Slightly Mad Studios incorporated a ton of in-series references and scenario setups that fans will recognize. Like when Brian and Toretto stole cars off a speeding train in Fast 5, albeit presented in a different format this time around. Some of the iconic cars from the movies return too. The Chevrolet Yenko Camaro that was smashed up at the end of Too Fast, Too Furious now has a newfound restoration in Crossroads, and several recognizable vehicles like the 1970 Dodge Charger and the Ford GT make a much welcomed appearance. They also got Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and Tyrese Gibson to reprise their roles from the films. And does Vin Diesel say his famous line?
It's family.
Does he? Does he? You bet your bottom dollar he does. That's where half the budget's gone. The game itself is heavily story-focused and straightforward. Don't expect to be picking up side missions or free-roaming a massive world map akin to GTA. It's more about playing through big, spectacle set pieces in a linear progression. The protagonists are involved in street races, taking down opposing vehicles, hacking machines, escaping from dangerous locales, and so forth. Driving fast is the name of the game here, and that's virtually all you'll be doing, but this isn't a negative at all, since the developers at Simply Mad Studios make racing games exceedingly well. Transitioning from the finely tuned technical controls of Project Cars, Crossroads gives off a more arcade-like approach in its steering and physics to accommodate for Fast and Furious's over-the-top approach. The playable drivers all use NOS for a short burst of pace, bump into parallel cars for takedowns, extremely satisfying, and use unique character-specific gadgets such as the harpoon for newcomer Vienna. It's really fun trying to latch onto an enemy vehicle whilst chasing them down at top speeds, and it adds a strategic element into the mix, since you can switch between characters on the fly and delegate who will be the most useful in each situation. There can be a lot of drivers on screen sometimes, which can cause you to lock onto the wrong target occasionally, but it's nothing too major. You'll more likely find yourself sprinting ahead of your prey and then awkwardly waiting for them to catch up. This can throw you a bit off course, as concentrating over your shoulder to line your vehicle up is almost counterintuitive to driving at 200 km per hour, but I can't really fault the game itself for that. The steering reminds me a lot of GTA Vice Cities, and I found it pretty easy to acclimate to. Crossroads is rather forgiving as well. Races aren't too difficult to win, and if you fall off the map or go out of bounds, you'll just be returned to a close-by location. Strangely enough, your character will usually find themselves placed in an advantageous position upon restart. You'll be blazing through the street races and cities, being made even more user-friendly with the yellow direction arrows from Project Cars. Along those lines, there is a fixed path you're on, and you can't deviate much from it. Although, Crossroads isn't so much about an open world, rather being a fixed structure where all the action is dead ahead of you. I still think the game could have benefited from some extra variety, maybe an on-foot shooter section or something, but it's hard to say. Overall, it comes together surprisingly well. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and press all on the bell notifications. We're really close to hitting our 200 subscriber goal too. The more subscriptions we get from viewers like yourself, the more we can grow, and the more content we can deliver straight to your YouTube homepage. Thanks for your support. Now, the car models look great, but I think the character models specifically could have used some work. They look like they're ripped straight from the previous generation of consoles, and why do some of them look like they have mumps? I can't unsee it. Certain environments when driving are really easy on the eyes though. Check that out. This is normally the part where I talk about story, but I'm gonna be honest here, there isn't really much to speak about. Newcomers Vienna and Cam are mostly forgettable, and the original cast will give you the same type of performances you've come to expect. Couple that with a mind-numbingly generic evil villain needs stopping plot, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So should you play Fast and Furious Crossroads? I'd say yes, but I'd honestly recommend waiting for a price drop, as the single player mode is quite short. I clocked it in under 5 hours in one sitting, and the story itself probably isn't worth the additional revisits either, although I didn't get the chance to review the multiplayer, so this may increase its lifespan somewhat, but we'll have to wait and see how the online community receives the gameplay formula. Share your feedback of our video in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for more content like this every single week.